talking about the racing calendar and racing days. And I want to welcome our panel up here. We have John Harris, the California Horse Racing Board, Tom Robbins from the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, and John Sadler, who's the newly elected president of the CTT Board of Directors. So thank you for being here this morning. We're here to talk about the race dates and the racing calendars. You know, one of the big questions that came out of the last thing is, should we be racing less? Should we have bigger breaks between meets? Should we have less racing days? And can we increase handle and field size by having less race dates? As we know, horse inventory is down right now. We're down about 1,000 horses in inventory over last year. Should we have bigger breaks between meets? Somebody brought up the question of more night racing, twilight racing, which is done one day a week in Del Mar in the summer. Certainly, when we've got longer daylight hours, we could start later. So, John, I'd like to start with you and what the CTT feels about that.
As the inventory goes down, I mean, we're going to have less racing dates because we have a lot of horses have left the state. So that's pretty simple. I think the other thing, when you mentioned those numbers, Marcia, on numbers of horses at the track, what's different about that is when you're a trainer and you have employees working for you for 10, 15 years, you really like them a lot. So what happens is, as the horses leave the state to race in other jurisdictions, trainers bring in horses that aren't ready to run because they have empty stalls. So that may sound like a lot of horses, but we have a pretty small inventory here in California right now. So we'll probably have to cut back.
A very simple answer to the question. I think it's a no-brainer. But understand that that's from the perspective of the racing department and actually the horsemen. I firmly believe, and I think it was proven out last summer at Del Mar, that we really need to focus on our product. If we don't, we're going to lose market share. And as all of you know, or at least most of you know, the purse money is derived solely from the wagered dollar. And if we lose our product, if our product declines to the point where we start losing market share, because we're competing not just with other racetracks in California, we're competing with other signals that come into California. It's important to understand that we need to do everything we can to maximize our ability to attract the wagering dollar. That's the job of the racing department. We have to put together a program that is not only suitable for the trainers and the owners and the breeders of the horses, in accommodating them and their horses that they have ready to run, but we also need to focus on the people that actually make this game run, and that's the player. That's our customer. And you know, I was telling somebody the other day, in the mid-'80s, if you wanted to bet on a race at Santa Anita, you had to come to Santa Anita, and that's all you could bet on, at least legally. That's how you had to make a wager on it if you wanted to bet on a horse at Santa Anita. Today, looking at the card today, you have Santa Anita, you have Oaklawn Park, you have Gulfstream Park, you have the fairgrounds. And I bring up those three race meets because you know, we present a gloomy picture in California. It's like this all over. But those three particular race meets have all cut back. They've all altered their racing schedules. Why? Because they want to maintain and preserve the product out there. The model for wagering is actually quite simple. As we've opened it up to more racetracks and the ability to bet on more races, if a patron comes in today and says, well, I don't like the fifth race at Santa Anita, I'm going to take my $100 and wager on a race at Gulfstream Park, we, the racetrack, you, horse owners, get less back in return from that wager. That's why we can't stress enough, I can't stress enough of trying to maintain the product. We had a sense last year, this isn't a surprise to anybody that our full crops in California are down over 20% since 2003 and still headed in that direction. downwards. We know we're gonna have 30 to 40% fewer cowbreds that will be running in our state. And why is that significant? Because 50% of our starters are made up of California breds. It's well documented. We're approximately down 25% in Southern California horse population today. About a year ago, Del Mar approached the CTT, the TOC, the CHRB, and said, we don't think we can fill 6 days of racing a week comparable to what we've done in the past. And we're too concerned about the product that we deliver to everybody out there, to all of our patrons, whether they be at Del Mar, whether they be in the satellite system in California or in other parts of the country. We went to a 5-day race week. We eliminated Mondays. We weren't sure how it was going to work out. We didn't eliminate all 8 races from the elimination of Mondays. We put 3 races back on the days that were more meaningful, that one on a Wednesday, one on a Friday, and one on a Sunday. It worked out well for us. The problem, it's not just a simple solution. It's a temporary solution, and it's a solution for horse owners because we were able to keep our purse levels very close to what they were in 2008 by this experiment. The problem is there are hundreds of people that make their livelihood in this business, and when you cut back, you're cutting back on what their incomes are as well. So I want to stress that that was a solution for Del Mar. It was a solution for 2009. I can't stress enough the importance of everybody trying to work together, because if our product suffers, so will the purses, so will the income to keep these facilities going. So I think but I think we have to be realistic about what we have and the horse population that we currently have. Somebody asked me, well, you're going to create fewer opportunities for horse owners. My response to that is, we have 25% fewer horses out there. We're not writing races for horses that don't exist. That's what it is. Nobody came to me at the end of Del Mar last summer and said, I couldn't run my horse. I just didn't have the opportunity to run my horse. We don't have races that are overfilling with 20 and 30 horses. So we have to be realistic, but we have to be aware of all aspects of this game and what it means when we do cut back. And as I said, it's a temporary fix. We've got to find other solutions.